thank you so much.
He brought me here to die.
Well, thank you so much for helping me get to school today.
Yeah, of course.
So, should we listen to some music?
Some tunes? Yeah, we should. What is your topic? Like, tell everyone about how you chose it, why.
So basically my topic was basically just about like how music really just serves like as a source of like mental like help and like as a source of therapy, especially for people like who can't really like find the proper resources to, you know, I guess like help them through whatever like they're going through. And I think that it was a topic that really interested me from the beginning because, you know, I'm very musically inclined, and I think that music like really just serves like a bigger purpose than just like the superficialness of it, like, you know, just like for like enjoyment and stuff. Like there really is like proven like experiments that really just show like how like mentally like in your brain it really just like does help you. But what about you? Like, what was your topic? Tell everyone. We really want to know.
So my topic is women being underpaid, especially in the business world. And I found this out through a professor. Like, I always had an idea that women were still being underpaid, but I didn't know how much it was. Like, I knew very little. But we were in my accounting class with Professor Hassey, and he said that women are being paid 30% less. And that made me, like, so frustrated and angry. I was like, what? Like, we're living in this society where, you know, there's so many feminists, there's so many, like, advocation for it, and we're still being underpaid, which is totally unfair just because we're women.
It is true. Like, even like when you're as successful as like being a principal, or I remember that my elementary school principal, she went to a conference and she found out that all the male principals in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles were getting paid significantly higher than her.
Wow.
And that like she was just like so baffled by that, like, oh my god, like why am I getting paid less? Mind you, she's a lunatic, but that had nothing to do with it. Like, she honestly, like, that was like really messed up, and that really put it into perspective, like, oh my god, like it is a real thing. Like, even like in the generation that we live in, like after, you know, the women's rights movement and all the stuff that, you know, you guys continue to fight for, it's like there's still a lot of change that like needs to be done.
And one thing that really shocked me about the stats was this one source that I had that basically said that the wage gap equality would not be achieved until 2056. 2056.
Oh my god, like we're gonna probably have kids by then, or
we're probably gonna be grandparents. No, actually, maybe.
We're just gonna be old as
yeah. But I really like your topic. I feel like it soothes, because personally, like when I'm stressed and I have anxiety, I play music, and I literally have a playlist for everything. I literally have a playlist for everything. Like, I literally have a playlist to go to bed. I have a playlist when I'm doing homework, studying, because I always need to like have that kind of white noise in the back, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it just calms me down. And there's like certain like voices, certain artists that really know how to do that.
Yeah. No, for sure. And like that's what I really like wanted to look into, and that's what was probably very challenging probably about my topic, is because like music is such a broad like scope, and like you have to really just like hone in and like figure out, like, I mean, I was like met with like so many different sources, so many different types of music, and it's like, okay, like where do I even start? And that's, I guess it goes into kind of like your research, like how are you really gonna like make your topic like stand out by, and like also like enjoy it, because like I know like for you, like you were very open, like, you know, I love this topic, like I love the idea of it, but the research is just really like boring, and it's just like it wasn't so enjoyable.
It was
and that's like what I wanted, so I think that I had to kind of like find that balance. Okay, like
how to bring your paper to life, how to get it to work with your research, and how to make it interesting and not just make it seem boring.
Right.
Because I had that same thing. I was just finding source after source, kind of saying the same thing, until I found one where it was like, of course, women that are having education, that have high education, are being paid a little more, but it's still pretty low compared to men. Like, the women getting their bachelor's degree and their master's definitely does help. but it's still not enough.
No, I completely agree with that. I think that, like, you're so right. Like, not only women, but then it's like, you're not, like, there's like so many components to, I guess, you personally and, you know, your family, that it's like, there's just like so many like things where like it could be a problem, I guess, like to other people, because it's like, you are a woman, you are Latina, like those are all the things that like people just like look down on you for, like no matter how successful you are, no matter what industry you're in.
It just hits a little harder because it hits home because it relates to my community and it really like sucks, but this is what the society we're living in. This is the reality that needs to be changed. So what did you do in order to develop your paper? Like, what was the first thing? You chose your topic. What were you gonna do? Like, obviously research, but what were you thinking?
I think I was thinking, because like I think for me, when it comes to music and like thinking about, because like first, like I had to find like that personal connection, like you, right? So like I had to like figure out like, okay, like where in my life did I feel that music like helped me the most? And I kind of separate that into like eras of my life, like, okay, like this album helped me at this point, this body of art like served this purpose in this certain moment. And I think that I had to think like, okay, like what did that do for me, like what did I feel? And then I had to kind of find articles that kind of matched that, and I had to think to like, okay, like what worked for me, and like what I guess like worked for other people that like I know. So as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh wow, like okay, like this is gonna work. And then that kind of just like made the flow like easier, like okay, like this album served a purpose in at this point in my life at this certain time.
That's really cool that you're able to connect that.
Mm-hmm.
That you're able to connect like pieces to your life and bring that into your research paper, and that really brought it to life.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you use a song? Like, was there a specific song that you used that like really helped you get through tough times? Did you put in your paper, or just like in general?
What the f*** did you put? I would say like recently, and I think that like we related to this because we actually went to the concert. I feel like SOS by SZA was just like, it kind of like wrapped up like everything that was mentally going on in my head, like at that moment. Like the whole element of like, okay, like you start at the top and like she's like super like feeling herself, you know, conceited, like I'm the like I'm a badass. And then it kind of goes into like, oh my god, but like I'm still like broken, like, you know, things are happening. And then it kind of like ends off on like, oh my god, then she goes through this like rampage, she wants to with everybody. And then it's like she kind of ends at like, okay, like I'm at peace, like good days on my mind, like I'm like okay. But what would you say was one word that would sum up like your entire paper?
That's hard. Okay. Based on everything that all my research, I just would say shocking. Shocking or intriguing. One of those two. So I feel like everything I found, like you know, like you always know in the back of your head, like there's, like I always knew, you know, I always knew that it was unjust, women are not being underpaid. But just looking at the statistics and really looking at it was just kind of like deflating. I don't know if that's what I want to use, deflating, like degrading.
I promise she's literate. I promise she's literate. And especially because you're working now too, like, and I'm sure that like now it's like you like see it like in a different way.
Yeah, I see it in a different way because I work now, and I see like I have a manager who's a woman, and I have my assistant manager who's a woman, and then we have our regional manager who's a man. And I can't imagine, of course he's getting paid a lot more because he's a regional manager, but like compared to a male manager, I want to see the stats. Like I want to ask, be like, do you know if you guys get paid the same or is it different?
So that would be good. Like, what questions like do you still have? Like, finishing your paper. Like, okay, like how does that relate? Like in your actual work environment, like what actually goes on that you don't see? Are you getting paid more than your male coworkers? Like, what does that even look like? Like, yes, you guys are supposed to be all on the same wage, but like, do they get raises more often? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. Women's rights have been up for debate since last year. Everything going on with the government and states abolishing a law, and you know, it's kind of being brought up, and I think the wage gap needs to be brought up and needs to be fought for, advocated for.
For sure.
And so, in me writing this paper and me kind of informing everyone, I hope that you guys now know that your mom, your sister, your cousin, your girlfriend, your best friend is probably going to be getting paid a lot less than you are if you're a man.
Yeah.
And that's a sad reality. So if you could rewrite your paper, like rewrite it, start over, would you choose the same topic or would you write it differently in any way?
I think I would still stick with the same topic. I think that like in high school I wanted to write about this so badly, but we were kind of like fit into like, oh, like you only have to write research papers about like certain texts that we were reading or like certain books, and it was just like boring. Like I was so bored out and I hated every minute of it. But I genuinely like really enjoyed it, and I felt like that this like paper writing like it went by so fast for me because I was able to talk about all the types of music I love. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like I jumped from this album to like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, like how like that kind of culture like makes you feel like some people take it as like, oh, like it promotes gang violence, but like to me it's just like a ego booster. Like I'm good with it, like I love it. So like just being able to just like be diverse like with the music and everything, like I just like it made me happy, and like it made everything just flow super like, you know, smoothly. So I would stick with the same topic. What about you? Like would you write this topic again?
At first, when I wasn't finding the research that I wanted, I was like, man, I wish I chose something else. Because the other topics that I had in mind were topics that I was already kind of informed about or knew somewhat about. And this was something that I was like, you know, I don't really know about this. I'm going to be into this career field. And I was like, I should be educated on this. I need to see what's going on. And, you know, now that I'm halfway, well, I'm nearly almost done with my paper. By the time this is viewed, I turned it in already. But
mine's due tomorrow.
I don't think I would do anything differently. I think I would just probably put more time into my research, and I wish I could have found an interview from like a businesswoman. Not saying anything about my aunt that she's not a businesswoman, because she is, but something that's more, you know, like government, like a corporate. Yeah, I wish I could have found that, but I feel like I didn't have enough time.
Understandable.
But other than that, I liked everything, that how it flows, the research that I chose, the interesting facts that I found, and yeah, I wouldn't really change it.
Well, this was our rendition of Carpool Karaoke, but talking about our papers. So we hope you enjoyed.